What if we've been getting this whole UFO thing completely backward? Back in the early 90s, this really fascinating document came out that proposed we should stop just waiting around for contact and maybe, just maybe, start initiating it ourselves. This is the story of that incredible plan.
Think about it. For most of modern history, our search for aliens has been, well, pretty passive. We've got these giant radio telescopes pointed at the sky, basically eavesdropping on the cosmos, just hoping to catch a stray signal. But the people behind this paper asked a totally different question. What if they're already here? And what if they're just waiting for us to show them we're ready to have a real conversation?
Okay, so to really get what they were proposing, we first got to look at the old way of doing things, the system we used for classifying UFO encounters. It was really a scale designed for looking backward, for investigating things after they'd already happened.
Right, so you've probably heard of the close encounter scale, right? CE1 through 4. It's all about reacting. You see a light in the sky, you find some weird trace on the ground, you see an occupant, or in the case of a CE4, you have an experience on board a craft. See? It's all passive. This CSETI proposal brought in something completely new, the close encounter of the fifth kind, or CE5. And this was all about being proactive, about us, humans, starting a two-way chat.
Now, this really bold proposal didn't just pop out of thin air, no way. It was built on a very specific set of conclusions that the organization CSET had come to by 1991 about what this phenomenon was all about.
So here's what they figured. Their core assessment was pretty clear. They concluded that, yep, extraterrestrial craft are here, and not just one group, but multiple civilizations, and they seem to be working together. But here's the crucial part. They believed these visitors were non-hostile, but were deeply, deeply concerned about our habit of fighting with each other, especially with our nuclear weapons. This worldview is basically the key to understanding everything else they proposed.
But that leads to a really big question, doesn't it? If they're friendly, why are they so hard to find? Why so elusive? The document suggests the answer is something they call the technology paradox.
I mean, just listen to that. The power difference they're talking about is absolutely staggering. The authors are basically saying that the energy systems these things use are so advanced that if we got our hands on them, well, H-bombs would look like firecrackers.
And this perfectly sums up the Pandora's box dilemma. Think about it. Giving that kind of game-changing tech to a species that can't even get along with itself, it would probably kick off the most terrifying arms race in history, and maybe even lead to our own destruction. This, the document argues, is why the visitors are so careful. And it's also why our own governments have kept it all under wraps.
So, what do we do? If they can't trust us with their tech, how do we ever bridge that gap? How can we possibly send a signal that says, hey, we're ready for a mature, peaceful relationship?
Well, the answer, according to CSEIT, was the CE5 initiative. This was their detailed protocol, a step-by-step guide for humans to proactively and, most importantly, peacefully signal that we are ready to talk.
See, a CE5 is not something that happens to you. It's something you help create. It's a deliberate, conscious, human-led effort to open up a two-way street. That makes it totally different from any other kind of encounter.
And this wasn't just some vague idea. The initiative laid out actual practical methods for teams in the field. They proposed using powerful lights and lasers to flash out specific intelligence sequences. They talked about using certain audio tones. And then there's the most fascinating one, a technique they called coherent thought sequencing. Basically, a kind of focused group meditation designed to project peaceful intentions across space.
But here's the kicker. The technology was only half of it. The document stresses over and over the importance of the internal state of the people trying to make contact. It says you need purity of motive. You have to be genuinely peaceful, free from fear, free from prejudice, and you can't be doing it because you want to get your hands on some advanced weapon. Your heart has to be in the right place.
Okay, so you might be thinking, that's a nice theory, but this wasn't just a thought experiment. The document claims these exact protocols were put to the test in a pretty dramatic way back in 1992. So let's set the scene. It's a cool, clear night in March. A research team is gathered on a remote stretch of beach in Gulf Breeze, Florida, a place that was already a major hotspot for UFO sightings.
You've got 39 people there, all participants from a CSETI workshop. They set up all their gear, and they start running the CE5 protocols, the lights, the sounds, and that focused, coherent thought.
And then, according to the report, it worked. At 8:24 that night, a formation of 5 unidentified craft appeared right there in the sky above them. What the report describes next is just incredible. The team on the beach used a super high-powered light to flash signals at the main craft. They'd flash 3 times, and the craft would flash 3 times back. They flashed twice, it flashed twice back. They called this amazing, real-time communication a photon dialogue.
This quote from the report just says it all, doesn't it? For the people standing on that beach, this was everything. It was proof of concept. They believed they had done it. They'd gone from just being passive skywatchers to being active partners in a real conversation.
So you see, in the end, the CE5 initiative was way more than just the method for seeing UFOs. It was really a proposal for a whole new way of thinking about ourselves and where we fit in the universe.
The whole document concludes with this beautiful philosophical idea. It argues that when you strip everything else away, our biology, our technology, where we come from, the one thing we would share with any other intelligent life out there is consciousness itself. That's the real common ground. That's our point of unity.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? The CSTI proposal is basically saying that our technology, our radios and rockets, can only get us so far. It suggests that the real key to talking with other worlds might not be in our gadgets, but inside our own minds. Is consciousness the ultimate bridge between worlds? That's the incredible question this document leaves us with.